Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Efrem Graham. Voters in key states went to the polls in the first major round of elections since President Obama's win last year. From a tight race in Virginia to a huge blowout in New Jersey, Americans are getting some indication of what next year's midterm elections could look like.
How about this, New Jersey?
The Republican incumbent, Chris Christie, won and won big. In a landslide victory, the New Jersey governor used his 20-point lead to present himself as a potential U.S. presidential candidate to take back the White House in 2016.
Maybe the folks in Washington, D.C. should tune in their TVs right now, see how it's done.
Exit polls show he got huge support from voters outside the traditional GOP base. A majority of women, half of Hispanics, 1 in 5 black voters, and even a third of Democrats all went for Christie, who last night wasn't using the good numbers to talk about future aspirations.
And whatever the future brings, it'll bring. But first things first.
What a great night, everybody, huh?
In Virginia, former DNC chairman and close confidant to Bill and Hillary Clinton, Terry McAuliffe, won an extremely tight race, edging out Republican Ken Cuccinelli, a Tea Party favorite by merely 2 percentage points in the race for the governor's seat.
There are a lot of proud Democrats here, and aren't we proud tonight, folks?
Even though McAuliffe outspent Cuccinelli and held a double-digit lead in the polls for much of the race, exit surveys show voters who opposed Obamacare overwhelmingly backed the GOP candidate, and that narrowed the margin in the last days.
The rollout of Obamacare that's been disastrous, and then now the thought in everybody's mind that this is a really bad policy that's going to hurt me, average American, is going to matter. I think it could have helped Cuccinelli a lot more if he had been harping on it from day one. If I were him, I would have really made it an issue early on.
We said this race was a referendum on Obamacare, and although I lost, tonight you sent a message to the President of the United States that you believe that Virginia understands that Obamacare is a failure and that you want to be in charge of your health care and not the government.
Tuesday's election results could prove to be an early barometer of the party's support ahead of the midterm elections in 2014. In other election news, the nation's largest city has a new mayor for the first time in 12 years. New Yorkers elected Democrat Bill de Blasio. He's taking over from Michael Bloomberg, who is stepping down after 3 terms. De Blasio is the first Democrat to take the post in 20 years. Meanwhile, the mostly African-American city of Detroit has elected its first white mayor in 4 decades. Michael Duggan won by a wide margin, 10 points. He faces a huge job. The city has massive debt, one of the nation's highest crime rates, and block upon block of crumbling neighborhoods.